the weather, flooding concerns, and whether or not you should be looking at flood insurance in your neck of the woods. The trial involving actress Gwyneth Paltrow and a Utah man also happening this week. As a matter of fact, it gets underway tomorrow. And how a new child care program could affect families in the state. But before we dive into all of that, we've got to take a look at what is making headlines here tonight. We're going to show you some of these things you can find on our website right now, KUTV.com. A Spanish Fork family mourning the loss of their 16-year-old son. The Juab County Sheriff's Office says a pickup truck with 4 teenage boys inside of that truck crashed. 3 of them ejected. 1 was killed. In Davis County, a semi-truck sandwiching a car into a concrete wall. Perhaps this is everyone's worst nightmare if you're on a freeway. It happened this afternoon, I-15 in Farmington. No one seriously hurt, miraculously, after you look at this photo. UHP says the semi changed lanes and didn't see the car. Former President Donald Trump says he could be arrested as early as tomorrow. The Manhattan District Attorney is investigating alleged hush money payments made on Trump's behalf to adult film star Stormy Daniels prior to the 2016 election. Finally here, a man shot by Taylorsville police over the weekend is recovering and expected to live. Officers shot Alex Boren, believed to be about 35 years old, at a home near 4400 South, 22nd West. 2 officers are on leave, and the Salt Lake County Incident Critical Task Force is investigating this as we learn more, hopefully in the coming days, coming weeks. Well, as we go in depth tonight, you can always touch base with us throughout the show. Use the hashtag 2NewsLive, join the conversation. You can always find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. Send us a direct message to weigh in. I say us because Chase Thomason is here. We're going to talk about this. May not really feel like it, but spring apparently here. Today is the vernal equinox, first day of spring. Unfortunately, here in Utah, maybe fortunately, it really depends on who you ask, I think, when it comes to these things. Multiple storms impacting the state. Video this afternoon from our roof cam here in downtown Salt Lake City. Hey, Chase, look at that. You have your own name on a bank. Funny how that works.
I wish. I wish I owned it.
Look at these big numbers in the bank.
I know, big snow today with this cold front. Alta reporting 11 inches of snow in the last 24 hours. And just check, Brighton just hit 700 inches for the season, and Sundance Resort 400 inches for the season.
So they're leading the way when it comes to all of our 15 resorts so far, right?
They have a few more inches than Alta. Alta is a close second. But, I mean, Sundance, this is very impressive because they only average 250. We've talked about that. They're hitting 400. Wouldn't be surprised if they double their annual snowfall in just one ski season.
It could be more to come, too.
Yes, it is. There's a lot more to come. We have a lot to dive into, so let's get right to your first alert forecast. We're tracking more rain and snow, and for the first official day of spring, we had snow in Salt Lake City. Of course, with that cold front, we had some pretty gusty winds, rain, and then snow for about an hour. Didn't really accumulate very much, but grassy surfaces saw a dusting to an inch of snow up and down the Wasatch Front, but a lot more in the mountains. And we're not done yet. We have another atmospheric river that we're going to be tapping into as we head into our next storm for tomorrow and on Wednesday. You can see it spinning out here in the Pacific. Lots of tropical moisture to work with, and it's all headed for California, Nevada, then eventually right here into Utah. We still have some showers, though, through this evening, mainly now down in southern Utah. We're seeing some improving conditions here in northern Utah. So a little bit of rain down in St. George. Right now, nothing too heavy, but it's getting everything very saturated. And with that atmospheric river coming later tonight and into tomorrow, there's going to be an elevated risk for flooding in Washington, King County. We have snow, though, in the mountains, pretty scattered across south central Utah. A little bit of snow in the Wasatch Mountains, but notice we're quiet from Logan down to about Provo. A few scattered showers out in eastern Utah. Notice there is a little bit of a line rolling through the Great Salt Lake. That could be moving through the northern end of the Wasatch Front later this evening here in the next hour or two. There's those isolated rain and snow showers at 8 o'clock. Still a few showers down in southwestern Utah, but wait until tomorrow morning. It really fills in from the southwest. Widespread rain in St. George, those lower valleys of southern Utah. The higher valleys like Cedar City could have a rain-snow mix or all snow, and that might impact your Tuesday morning drive through southern and central Utah. That moisture lifts northward, though, throughout the day, and we'll have rain and snow in northern Utah. And then as we head into your Wednesday, some colder air moves in, so we could see some snow mixing in at times here along the Wasatch Front. And then by the afternoon, still these hit or miss rain and snow showers as southern Utah begins to dry out Wednesday afternoon. Notice the bullseye, that's across southwestern Utah, where we could see maybe an inch and a half of water. That could cause some localized flooding concerns near some of those streams, rivers, creeks. Got to stay out of those slot canyons down in southern Utah. They'll be very dangerous tomorrow and on Wednesday. Northern Utah could see another 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of rain and some snow mixing in at times. We have winter storm warnings in the mountains for significant snow. Generally about 1 to 2 feet in the mountains of southern Utah, with locally higher amounts towards Bryan Head. And we could see maybe 10 to 20 inches of snow here in the mountains of northern Utah. Those mountain valleys like Park City, another 4 to 8 inches late Tuesday and into Wednesday. St. George 51, that is well below normal for this time of year. We'll be in the low to mid 50s mainly for the rest of the week. A few more showers and storms possible Wednesday and Thursday. Right now the weekend looks dry but chilly in the mid 50s. Salt Lake near 50 tomorrow, 49 on Wednesday with rain and snow. More rain and snow showers on Thursday, hit or miss. Snow showers Friday and on Saturday as another storm rolls in, and those temperatures will be dropping into the low 40s as we wrap up the week and head into the weekend, Brian. So unsettled weather for at least the next 4 to 5 more days.
Remember we were talking about, is 700 achievable? And now the question is 800 really achievable? If you're looking at 1 to 2 feet just from this storm,
right?
They could
see 2, 3, maybe 4 feet of snow by Saturday up in the mountains. So you're going to be talking about, totals near 830, 840, so that's not out of the question. But 730, 740.
Impressive when you look at Bryan Head, though, too, because last week we were talking with an emergency services director from Washington County, and a lot of that was, hey, what happens in the next week or two in the St. George area? And they really may be in the lookout, it seems like?
It depends. The difference, though, with this setup compared to last week, it's a bit colder. Okay. So those snow levels are going to be a little bit lower, so we're not going to see as much runoff from the melting of the snow, but some localized flooding just due to the widespread, maybe heavy nature of the rain in the lower valleys. Talk
more about this in just a moment as we continue to track storms. You can download our 2 News weather app to know about changes in your neighborhood. Get updated forecasts and live radar on your phone. The app is free and it's easy to download. We were hoping to go in depth with our Lincoln Graves on this. I just want to talk about it for a moment because Lincoln has been out covering floods over the last, I don't know, week or so. Lincoln's kind of been everywhere, ranging in different counties in northern Utah, all the way to where things are now. Lincoln talking about flood insurance tonight, something that maybe you around your home should consider looking into. Has that ever impacted you in the Salt Lake area?
Not at my house. I'm not in a flood-prone area, but again, if you live near those rivers and streams, it's something I'd really want to pay attention to.
Well, Lincoln joining us live now. Lincoln, I think the real question is, how do we know if we're in the need of flood insurance? How do we know if our home kind of fits the bill to be inquiring with our insurance agent about this?
Well, really simple answer. It does require a lot of research on your part. You have to do some research to see, hey, have you experienced any flooding in your area in the past? Maybe before you moved to your current location. Look at floodplain maps. The government provides those, state and federal government provides those. You want to look there to see if you're in an area where there is a high risk. So you really do have to do a lot of research as you're looking through this. We're by the Jordan River right now. If you're along a waterway or next to a reservoir or a lake, it's a good sign that you may be at a higher risk than a lot of other people. But even if you're away from one of those, you just don't know when the water gets really high as it goes to that lowest elevation if you're going to happen to be in one of those locations. So research is the name of the game, Brian.
Well, one of the more common flood locations in a home, of course, are basements. But why are basements treated differently when it comes to flood insurance?
It's because basements are just flood prone. If you live in an area where you're not really going to experience one of those widespread floods, you are still at risk of having some basement flooding created by whatever circumstance that may arise. So when insurance agents are talking to you about flood insurance, many of them will ask you, okay, is this for your basement? You can get some insurance for basement, but it's not going to cover a lot of contents down there, regardless of what the cause of the flood is. You can sometimes get insurance to cover, drywall replacement, things like that. But even if you live outside of a floodplain, just think back to family members who have experienced basement flooding. It is very common. It happens to a lot of people, even when they don't think they're living in an area that is prone to flooding. Brian?
Lincoln, thank you. Of course, you just don't hope that it happens to you, right? I think that is the ultimate goal.
I mean, you could have sprinkler issues, and that could flood your basement, and
Sure.
you're not covered under those plans. It's, anything that breaks inside your home, that's covered by flood insurance, but anything outside typically isn't unless you get that special flood insurance.
Something we're going to be talking about probably for weeks, months to come at this point.
Yep.
And we want to hear from you at home. How would you describe your level of flood insurance for your home, for your property? Well, you should grab your phone. Maybe you're watching us on it, but maybe not. So grab a phone and grab that QR code that's on your screen right now. Chime into this viewer poll. A lot of you saying you don't have it right now. Maybe something to think about as we make our way into the spring months. Also going in depth on a trial set to begin tomorrow. Actress Gwyneth Paltrow will take the stand following a skiing accident at Deer Valley Resort. This accident took place nearly 7 years ago. The allegations were first brought forth by Terry Sanderson, who says that Paltrow hit him, resulting in injuries. He filed a lawsuit shortly after. Paltrow filed some sort of a counter. This was back in 2019. The case itself back to 2016, and now mid-March 2023, this case will go to trial in Park City tomorrow. I spoke with an attorney who handles personal injury litigation about his thoughts on this case. Take a listen.
The plaintiff has the burden of proof, so Mr. Sanderson, Dr. Sanderson, he's going to have to show that more likely than not that Paltrow was at fault. She violated the rule to yield to other downhill skiers, or didn't properly merge from one trail to another. And so I think it's a tough case. If it comes down to a he said, she said thing, you already have a reputation of Paltrow coming in. You don't know how that plays. You're already in a jurisdiction where, this is in Summit County. The jury is going to be residents of this county, and the ski resorts are a huge part of their economy. And so residents already look favorably upon these ski resorts. And so you really need convincing evidence. And I don't know all of the specific details of and evidence that will be shown at trial, but if they can find some good physical evidence, like I said, that the injuries or independent witness to corroborate one story or another, that's going to be helpful to either party. But it looks like it may be a tough case for the plaintiff.
How does it impact things when you have a high-profile individual involved?
Yes, and that's just it. It depends on the high-profile individual and sort of their reputation going into something like this. But someone like Gwyneth Paltrow, she's going to want to preserve her reputation, and she doesn't want to be seen as low-hanging fruit, so to speak, I'm sure, where anytime she's involved in something, it's, I'm a bullseye, for some sort of litigation or lawsuit against me. So she's going to defend that. I saw that she did counterclaim, and she's probably trying to make a statement that this was not my fault. This was the other person's fault. But I think as a plaintiff's attorney, it is a consideration I'd be a little worried about here, that the jury may view her favorably, and that may hurt my case.
Well, the trial will get underway tomorrow morning. 3rd District Court, it's in Park City. Our Kristen McPeak will be there for us, previewing the trial on 2 News this morning, and our Lincoln Graves, you just heard from here on 2 News Live. He'll be waking up early, heading up there to cover the trial throughout the day, so stay with 2 News for the latest on this case. Something else we want to go in depth on tonight, and keeping an eye on your money at the same time. Cool how we can do that.
We can do both.
A newly passed law will give many state workers access to child care at work. This is pretty interesting. Christina Flores is here with us tonight on 2 News Live. Your piece airs this evening at 10 o'clock, but I want to look into kind of what this is. Child care for state workers, a law passing allowing this, maybe pushing for this, but it's not free for state workers.
No.
What is the discussion they need to have at work?
Yeah, so the state is not going to subsidize the child care for these state workers, but having daycare on site at work could be seen as a huge perk for people who apply for jobs at the state, right? We all know as parents how expensive it is. If you're looking for daycare, sometimes it's just hard to find an open spot. So the state is doing this to attempt to to keep workers happy, because of course they're trying to hire workers and keep them just like every other organization or business right now. And so they feel like if workers can know that their kids are nearby and they're safe, that's a big perk,
A
right?
comfort level sort of thing.
Yeah,
sure.
of course. And so the other reason they're doing this is because a lot of state workers are now working from home. They're on hybrid schedules. So there's a lot of empty space in a lot of state offices and buildings. So the lawmaker that proposed this thought, hey, why don't we use this space and create daycare centers for workers who do have to show up to work and who can't be on a hybrid schedule and who cannot work from home. So the law would allow state departments to poll their workers to see how many would be interested on on-site daycare, and then they could put out bids for private daycares to come in and run the child care centers. So the state's not going to get into the child care business. They're just going to provide the space in the event that workers want this.
So they're spearheading the conversation, saying, hey, now this is the perfect time to maybe start rolling this out. So maybe some offices do it and maybe some have no interest, right?
Right, because there might be some offices where a lot of the workers are working from home and don't have to go to the office, but there are others, like UDOT, for example. A lot of those workers, they have to show up to work every day because they're critical workers and they have to be there taking care of our roads, et cetera. So that might be one department where there might be more workers who say, hey, we come to work every day, we might benefit from childcare at work.
Taking a closer look at this tonight on 2 News at 10 o'clock. Thank you, Christina.
That's right, sure.
And as always, if you have some need for money-saving tips, we have them for you and your family. KUTV.com, we can help you with that. Head to our website and click on the Eye on Your Money tab to see all of our past stories. We're going to go back to our website right now and take a look at what is trending there right now. KUTV.com. Some of the things that we've already talked about, right? The Gwyneth Paltrow trial that starts tomorrow. We dove a little bit deeper into that with the conversation with that attorney, looking into what could be coming out basically from the plaintiff and the defendant in this case. It's been going on for about 7 years. There are a number of articles. Once you get into this one, it links you to previous articles, talk about the countersuits that were filed back in 2019 and so on. A really tough one from over the weekend. We brought this to you in our headlines. Juab County Sheriff's Office telling us that there was an accident or a crash involving 4 teenagers. 3 of them ejected from the vehicle, 1 of them taken to a local hospital and did not make it. Our Amanda Gilbert has been covering this for us tonight. It is the top trending story on our website right now, KUTV.com. Also, what we told you about in our headlines, the story that has just the images that make you kind of cringe, being in your car, getting trapped after a semi kind of gets into your lane and rolls into you. Luckily, no major injuries reported in this. These stories and so much more right now on our website. Also, on the KUTV mobile app, which you can download on your Apple App Store or Google Play. Really depends on where you want to get us these days. Pretty easy to find. So thank you for checking us out on all of those platforms. Got to bring Chase back in because we're talking about, looks like free ice cream.
Sign me up, Brian.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
I love me some ice cream.
Dairy Queen helping you kick off the start of spring. I think it depends on where you are these days. If you're
Right,
really
maybe
in the
not
ice cream
today.
mood. Yeah, well, apparently free cone day. DQ giving out small vanilla ice cream cones free of charge, Chase.
Nice. Happy first day of spring. The offer is limited to 1 cone per customer while supplies last, and it may not be valid on delivery or mobile orders. So you got to go in. And for those who are into Italian ice, Rita says it's giving away on the day for more than 25 years.
Okay, so 25 years they've been giving away Italian ice, and I'm finding about it now in 2023.
We're going to have to wait till next spring.
All right. Well, you can find 2 News Live on your phone, your tablet, your computer. You can stream these newscasts and all of our newscasts on the mobile app, on Stir, News On. Right now we are streaming on YouTube. Make sure you join us there. We also post a lot of the stories that we're doing throughout the day, some longer conversations. We use the terms in depth. We use the terms conversations. A lot of those you can find on YouTube right now. So flooding has been a lot of the things that you can find on our YouTube channel as of late.
Well, you know, it's probably going to be something that we're going to be dealing with for at least a couple more months with this record-breaking snowpack. Again, Brighton hitting 700 inches. Our snowpack numbers hitting all-time records right now and only going up.
Some good information from Lincoln Graves. If you missed it, you can always watch it again. We'll be here at 5:30 Monday through Friday. Chase Thomason, Brian Schnee, and everyone who always makes this show happen. It is week number 2 of 2 News Live. You can always get in touch with us by using that hashtag 2 News Live on all of our social platforms. Join us again tomorrow. We'll see you here Tuesday, 5:30 p.m. Mountain Time for more in-depth conversations and topics that mean something to you. Have a great first day of spring. Look at that.